Good morning, community. Good morning. I thought let me run on in here real quick too and be able to speak a blessing for those of you who are already in the room. I think I'm gonna start making that my new goal, Jen, to get on in here before the 6:05 and bless everybody in the room. So I am speaking God's blessings over each of you on this morning, really declaring, y'all, that we are coming into a space where we will see the manifestation of who God has already created us to be. So, good morning, Sharice. Good morning, Gladys, Lori, Deborah Jones, Kimberly Washington, all Facebook users who are in the place. Good morning, Tiffany. Good to see you. See you with us early this morning. Good morning to everyone who is here. I speak God's choices, blessings over your life. I speak God's peace that surpasses all understanding. I speak God's protection, like may the God of the angel armies be encamped all around you. Mary Thompson, good to see you. Teresa Whitaker, good to see you. May God's grace be yours. May his mercy be yours. May you deep dive into his compassion that fails not, his mercy that's brand new on this morning. May we rise up in a full awareness that man, when he was handing out breath on this morning, when he was handing out breath into the lungs of humanity on this morning, God thought enough about you, Alice. God thought enough about me. God thought enough about Jen to give us our reasonable portion, right? So may his grace and his mercy be ours on today. And we don't take that for granted. Like literally, y'all, when he was passing out breath in lungs on this morning, he stopped by Lori's house. He stopped by Teresa's house. He stopped by Arlinda's house and Alice's house. Somebody say to our good daddy God, thank you for stopping by my house. I don't take it for granted. We give him glory, we give him honor, we give him praise that he didn't skip over our residence, that he didn't allow last night to be not just our night's sleep, but eternal sleep. He stopped by this morning and he put the very breath of life into our lungs. And when we process that, when we really process that, we understand that God, man, he does not play about us. He spins the block and checks back by when it comes to me and when it comes to you, Tiffany. So thank you, God. Thank you for the very life that is in our lungs on this morning. We don't take it for granted. Everybody in your homes, go ahead and give him a praise. Tell him thank you. Tell him hallelujah. Tell him you've been good to me. Allow him to really hear your voices on this morning as we prepare to go into our lesson. And we're already going. So I'm going to ask everybody to answer this question with me quickly into the comments so that we can make the most of our final day of lessons. And tomorrow, as you know, we will be back here for a time of prayer. We are committed to it all. We are committed to learning throughout the week, Monday through Thursdays, in our sessions for new queens who are joining us. We do our lessons from the Queen and the Bible and all that stuff rolled up into one, Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, we seal it in a time of prayer. And God is certainly calling us to more and more prayer, y'all. He's doing something. And so be here in the morning for our time of prayer. But back to it then. Here's the question: chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate or strawberry? Choose and put it right in the comments. Don't write me no long paragraph. Chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate or strawberry? I invite you to drop yours into the response quickly there, and then we'll get ready to share. Chocolate or strawberry? All right, I see some Facebook users saying chocolate. Tiffany said hers with a whole lot of excitement. Let's see. I see some more chocolates. Okay, Miss Dorothy saying she gonna go with that strawberry. I see another strawberry. I see some chocolates. I feel like chocolate's about to take it real quick. I see some more chocolate. Arnita's going with chocolate. Let's see. Lori went on and went with chocolate. Swan says she gonna swing back at y'all chocolates with some strawberry. Anybody else jumping into the work on this morning? Chocolate or strawberry? What we rolling with? What we rolling with? Chocolate or strawberry? Okay, I see some more. I don't know what them popsicle sticks mean, Teresa. Chocolate or strawberry? All right. Missy Lois says she coming on in with chocolate. Okay, and then strawberry. Okay, and I see the chocolate fam trying to bounce back some more. Chocolate or strawberry? We can pause right there and just hold comments for a minute so that you can process this quick activity as we prepare to do this work. Chocolate or strawberry? I want y'all to think about this. We're gonna go small, then we're gonna spread back out with context. Chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate or strawberry? One of my favorite sessions happened in, I want to say, early 2011, 2012, with one of my mentees who's still in my life on today. It's just a proud, 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 proud moment. Oh, it's strawberries. Thank you. She's trying to give us strawberries. All right, Teresa. Thank you, Miss Dorothy, for helping me. Proud moment. About December, no, late fall 2011, maybe early 12, one of my mentees. We were in a session together and we were doing some work. Even before I knew that I was called to do this work. We were doing this type of work. Just kind of realized that. And I posed the question, chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate or strawberry? And all throughout this room of like early 20-year-olds, probably about 25 of them, people were raising their hands and saying chocolate, and other people were saying strawberry. Somebody else was, I'm gonna go ahead and go with chocolate, and not really either one, but yeah, I'm gonna pick, I'll go with strawberry. There were others who were very anxious, like chocolate, strawberry, chocolate, strawberry. But throughout that room of about 20 something young ladies, pretty much everybody in the room made a decision between chocolate or strawberry. One of my mentees from way in the back, Swan, raised her hand and I said, yes, chocolate or strawberry. When she said to me, Tracy, pork chops, it was one of my most favorite moments. She said pork chops. And I said to her, but the options were chocolate or strawberry. I gave you the instructions or the options, I said. I gave you the options to choose chocolate or strawberry. I said, what, in my words today, what made you choose or what made you say pork chops? And she said, as I was getting ready to answer the question, I realized that you said that you will give me the options to choose between chocolate or strawberry. I decided that your options are not what I want. And I gave me another option. I want pork chops. In the dynamics of what we were teaching in this overnight retreat, I understood that she was tracking, that I want you to realize that the world often gives you either or options. The world often positions itself to determine where I get to choose how I'm going to play out my life. And just because people can say things and society can project things as if it's either this or it's that, because you got pregnant in high school, that means that you have to either drop out or you have to get a job like just being a checker for the rest of your life. Just because you're from a broken home, that means that you got to either be this or that. Just because perhaps you have a record or have gone to prison, then these things right here, these are your options. Just because your father was absent, that means you're going to be a woman who's like this or that. Society positions choices before us all the time. And because those choices are often so normalized, we operate as if then that has to be my either chocolate or strawberry. But when she said to me pork chops, she allowed me to understand that she understood that just because somebody says either or to you, and gives you these positions. You know, you've been working at the company only this long, so you can either be this or that. You know, you only have this particular degree, so that means you can only be this or that. You know, you're at this age, so you can only opt to become this or that. Or you know, you're not as smart as such and such, so it's either this or it's that. And the world can do that so often, and we can get in alignment with it like that's the way that it has to be. But you do not have to choose what the world offers you. You do not have to take that as your only option. If you're following me, give me a thumbs up. The world does that with such regularity that we begin to think in the boxes that other people can set up for us. So I said chocolate or strawberry, and my beloved mentee said pork chops, because I'm not in the mood for no ice cream. I don't want chocolate nor strawberry. I want pork chops. So in your world, as we prepare to go into our lesson for today, it is literally called I am more. Everybody say that out loud with me. I am more. I am more. I am more than my past choices that lead to logical conclusions. I am more than my last name that might not have given me a good legacy or inheritance. I am more than my pocketbook. I am more than my current situation. I am more than my deficit. I am more. Everybody with me? I am more. So now I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked at the top of the lesson to see if you are following, if you are tracking with me. And I'm going to give you about 1 minute to prove that you're following the lesson. So here are your options. Choose chocolate or strawberry. Chocolate or strawberry. Choose. Society says chocolate or strawberry. Your generational behavior says chocolate or strawberry. The Your options are chocolate or strawberry. And I see you all coming in. I see butter pecan. I see vanilla. I see unsalted nuts. I see potato chips. I see peanut butter. I see mocha. Very good. It is you saying, I see Deborah Jones saying both or more. I see you understanding. And so while that very simple example of chocolate or strawberry may seem like that's too much simplicity, but I want you, as I begin to share, to process in your life, like, but for real, where have I chosen between the options that the world seemingly puts before me in my life? Have I really brought, I see somebody saying shrimp. Very good. Have I really bought into, if I'm this age, these are my options. If I'm this gender, here's what I can do. If I have this level of education, then these are the few things that I am allowed to do. If I'm single, then I can only do this. If I'm married with kids, then I got to only do this. If I'm a housewife, oh, then that means I can only do this. Where in my life am I really operating from the paradigm of chocolate or strawberry? It's critical. Here's where we're going with this. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have been positioned with the question, which one? Recently, I was preparing to share for preparing to plan a bit of content. And a person who was processing with me said, but Gena, some of us need this, and some of us need this, and some of us need this. And so, which one do you want to do? Which one, which piece are you, who are you trying to present as? What is it that you're trying to do? And we made our way through the conversation, and we kept going kind of back and forth about it. And eventually I said to her, both. You keep trying to make me choose which area do I want to flow in. And my answer really is both. Now, I understood that with all of her good intentions, because that's how she operates her life, right? She operates her life in the perspective of like this. She has a chosen field, and I'm not knocking that. She has a chosen field for her career, and her aim is to pretty much retire from that career after 30 plus years of serving there. Okay, that works for her. But if you were to look at my logo, I'll show that really quickly, hopefully. It's at the top of the screen there, and then I'm going to see if I can just put it up bigger for you. Honey, that's my logo. Y'all see that? It's cute, huh, Swan? That's been my logo for years. It's a stiletto and it's a cowboy boot. It's both. It's a stiletto and it's a cowboy boot. Many of you who've come down to the center, you've seen it. I have an old brown pickup truck and I put on my cowboy boots with the best of them. Last weekend or so, when I was at the center, I was excited because my uncle was teaching me how to drive those lawnmowers and cut in squares and do all of that. And then I come right back here into the city and put on my stilettos and suit and go and host press conferences with our mayor. I'm both. And no one has the option or the ability to try to make me not be all of those things. I am more. Somebody say, I am more. Where am I going with this? Because I believe that that is what God has for us on this morning. This awareness, you all, that there are gifts and talents on the inside of you. And many of the hustle and bustle intention within you that sometimes keeps us from moving forward is that we're trying to figure out which version of ourselves we desire to be, as if they are in competition with each other, as if I can only be or do one thing, perhaps because that's what my mom and them are comfortable with, or that's what a colleague is comfortable with, or that's what a cousin is comfortable with. And they have actually caused many of us who understand that there are various expressions of ourselves to evaluate that we're flighty, or we're not committed, or we can't stick with something. And so we feel all these callings from God to be different things, but we've bought into society's way of saying that if you're stable, if you're committed, if you're good at something, pick this one lane and only do that, and that's all you can do for the rest of your life. But I want you to even see this quick analogy. I want you to get back into the comments with me and let's do the work, y'all, because I'm coming back to what God has for us on today. Everybody say with me, I am more. I am more. Don't put your limitations on me. Don't put your fear on me. So here's a creation from our good daddy God. Everybody know what that is, right? That's the sun. Here's a creation from our good daddy God. Here's the sun. Now think about it. I want you to join into the comments with me. We call that the sun. But what can the sun be? For example, the sun is also heat. The sun is also heat. It gives off warmth. What else can the sun be? Y'all jump into the comments and think. Do the work. If you're driving or you're walking around getting dressed and you can't sit with us, that's okay. You just talk out loud. Somebody else said the sun can be light. The sun can definitely be light. The sun can be heat. The sun, very good. The sun is food for our plants. Somebody else put vitamin D. Darkest, thank you. Somebody else said fuel. I saw someone else say earlier that it's energy. Think about that. The sun can also be a guide. There are people who used to look up and try to see which way is the sun to tell us what's east and what's north. The sun can be nourishment. So you think about that. If we have the same good daddy God, right? The same good daddy God, that same one, y'all. If he has allowed this creation to have various expressions and various ways of showing up and being beneficial, being valuable, he's the same God that allows the sun to be all of those variations. Why would he create me and you and limit us to one thing? So yes, if you track my career record, I have been all throughout the educational scope, all the way throughout it. And then I've worked full time in ministry. And then I've worked with nonprofits. And now I'm doing consulting and teaching and speaking. And all of it is aligned with my calling to be a teacher and to be to be an empowerment enthusiast. But I realized a long time ago that teacher in a public school system, that role is not who I am. That role allows me to express who God has called me to be. When I transitioned from being a principal, I was okay because I understood that that role is not the totality of who I am. That role was just an expression of who God created me to be. When I went into full-time ministry at the church and then transitioned later, I was okay because that role is just an expression of who I am. In any of those capacities, I am still teaching, I am still empowering and lifting up others because I understand that I am more. Somebody say that with me again. I am more. I am more. So when we look at our queen for today, Queen Nefertiti, it says that Queen Nefertiti had to, and this is on day number 10, I am more. I'm giving us some quick bullets so I can get us on through this. Queen Nefertiti had to disguise herself as a man to rule. She disguised herself as a man to rule. If you look on page 54 in the book, I give you a whole list of different things that Queen Nefertiti became. She was the heredity princess. She was the great of praises. She was the lady of grace. She was the lady of the two lambs, so on and so forth. But what I highlight for you is that she had to describe this, she had to disguise herself as a man in that day because people could not handle her having all of these various expressions of herself. People could not handle her walking in her freedom. People could not handle her sitting on the throne and ruling with excellence in a lot of domains. I'm heightening for you this awareness that God has created you for more, and everybody doesn't have to be able to handle it. Sometimes you have to opt not to be in spaces trying to overly explain and justify the vision of you that you see about yourself, the expression of you that's calling for you from the future to this current self. Oftentimes, instead of using our energy to try to rally other people to believe in what God has called us to be, we have to choose to step by faith into it for ourselves. And we have to lean onto that popular cliche that says, I'll show you better than I can tell you. We have to actually internalize that even to ourselves and say, Gena to Gena, Gena, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. I'm going to show you who God has called you to be because I'm going to step by faith into what he has already finished. So as we prepare to end our lessons for this week, let's tie all of this together. I received another kind note on yesterday that just said, thank you so much for continuing to slow this down and help us to process. So let's do that as we wrap up this week's study and prepare to pray tomorrow. When we led off on this week, we started out on day number 7, and we talked about Queen Marie Theresa, who said, I am good with only. I am good with only. All week long, I can feel God dealing with our mindsets, you all. He wants us to be okay. If we cannot rally people, if we can't find people, if there's no pattern, there's no generational marker, we took away from that lesson. We were saying things like, if I'm the trailblazer, I'm the way maker, I'm the standard setter. Y'all join in with me. Let's get these lessons down in our spirit. I'm good with only. I'm the trailblazer. I'm the standard setter. I'm the way maker. I'll be the model. I am good with only. Remember, though, we did acknowledge that only does not necessitate easy. That oftentimes, and I told you all how I would struggle sometimes as the only African-American woman principal on that level, that sometimes it felt lonely. Somebody say yes. Sometimes you can feel like you're crazy. The stuff that I'm dreaming about, I ain't ever seen. You can feel crazy. Yes. Sometimes you can feel afraid. Somebody say yes. But at the end of the day, future her is what we described, is calling to current her to rise up and be who God has created her to be. Future her is calling to current her to rise up and be who God has called her to be. Listen, it makes sense now why when we say finished her. God has already finished her. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, right here on earth as it already is in heaven. God has finished her. Your kingdom come. Y'all repeat it with me. Your will be done on earth, right here on this earth, on me, as it is in heaven. We got that from day number 7, right? So I'm good with only. Then we tracked right on over and we went to day number, I forget the day number, but it was nothing of interest. And that was with Catherine the Great of Russia. She said that when I was born, there was nothing of interest about me. I was just a princess from Germany. Just. That just minimizes is a qualifier word. Just. It means just barely enough, not significant enough. And so when we went through that lesson yesterday, we reminded ourselves, everybody again, nothing missing, nothing broken. Let it be received in your spirit. Nothing missing, nothing broken. From Catherine the Great, who said there was nothing interesting about me. I was just. Many of us identified places where we have felt as if there are voids and there are soul holes. Our daddies were not there. We didn't have certain teachings. We didn't have certain awarenesses. There were just places that were lacking. But we declare by faith what God has said in his word, that in our weakness, his strength is made perfect. In our weakness, his strength is made perfect. And then he lines that right on up and wraps it up with, I am more in day number 10, where Queen Nefertiti had to play it small and had to hide out because other people could not handle her greatness. Today, we even declare, I am more. And when society tries to give me rules and tries to cause me to choose between who I know God has called me to be, I understand that I can have various expressions of myself, that I am not limited to chocolate or strawberry. I can have pork chops if I choose to. I'm going to wrap up with a nugget that God dropped into my spirit on yesterday. And I hope that it encourages you like it encourages me. At the onset of perhaps last week, as we were making our way through the story of our gifts, and we highlighted the little boy who had the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. And we spoke specifically to the space between our identification and our manifestation of gifts, that is critical, where our small stuff, whose hands it gets in, because depending on how they receive it, that may impact our ability to really produce and be made manifest. We understand that disciple said of the little boy's gifts that all he has is this, but Jesus saw it differently. And on last night, I was attending a theatrical presentation, and they highlighted the same story. And the nugget that jumped to me was simply this. It said, and when Jesus bade the little boy to bring his gifts, it says, Jesus blessed them. And Jesus multiplied them. When those gifts got into the hands of Jesus, it says Jesus blessed it and multiplied it. And I'm all in the theater, and he brings the community to mind, and he speaks into my spirit. Basically this, I'm trying to see how to say it, gentlemen, but we do straight shooting. So here it is. Don't you, towards you, be the disciple that does not give your stuff to Jesus. Don't you, towards you, be the disciple who does not get your stuff to Jesus. Don't you, towards you, be the disciple who does not get your stuff to Jesus. The you that sits and you second guess your own gifts. You second guess your own value. You put it on the back burner again. You decide that it's not good enough, or you decide that you're not good enough. You disqualify you. Nobody else has to tell you no. You're telling you no. That's what came to my spirit on last evening. Tell the community, don't you be the disciple that doesn't get your own gifts to Jesus. Begin to step by faith and get that stuff back into the hands of Jesus. Get it back into your prayer life. Get it back into your prayer journals. Get it back on your vision board. Get it back into the conversations with your accountability partners. Get it back into your business plan. Get it back into your timeline. Don't you be the disciple who does not get your own gifts to Jesus. Get your stuff back into the conversations, back into the arenas where you're presenting it before the Lord, and watch him bless it and multiply it. Bless it and multiply it. Understand? Bless it and multiply it. Bless it and multiply it. As you are envisioning your gifts on this morning, I invite you to come into alignment, into agreement with what I'm saying. If you have gifts and you have talents and you have dreams that you know you need to get into the hands of Jesus, go ahead to those comments and say, bless it and multiply it. It says, when the little boy's gifts were brought into the hands of Jesus, he didn't look at it and say, oh, it's too late. Oh, it's too small. Oh, it's too insignificant. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, somebody else has already created that. He said, bless it, and then he multiplied it. If you can come into agreement with that on this morning, say, bless it and multiply. God, I thank you. I thank you for every queen who's on the line on this morning. I thank you, Father God, that you're already and continuing. You're already have established, you've already done what you're going to do as it relates to the final version of me. Thank you that even now, though we are stepping by faith and allowing you to open our eyes and allowing you to help us to see who you have already established and created us to be. And as we said to our future selves on yesterday and the day before, we're coming. We're coming in Jesus' name. We're coming in Jesus' name. Amen. So again, I will see a host of you on Sunday. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be grinning so big, Swan. Oh, I'll be grinning and hugging and probably tearing and all that good stuff. I am so excited to be able to see the community out loud. For many of us, it will be your first time being able to put some names with some faces. We're going to hug it out. We're just going to come on in. We're going to pop up. We're going to pop out. I'm telling y'all, we're going to pop in and we're going to pop out. So if you're coming, please don't delay and think, oh, they're going to be over there a couple of hours and stuff. And so I'll just get, no. We're going to pop in and we're going to pop out. We're going to be in and out. So I invite you to make sure that you are there. You're excited too, Sharice? Oh, girl, I got to get my outfit together. Woo! Woo, we going out. No, I'll actually be coming from an event and going to another. So I'm telling you sincerely, we're going to be popping in and popping out. It's going to be amazing. I love you too, Darkest. And then I'm just moved, y'all. We are going into a season of prayer in April. I want to remind us, because I'm going to do a count. I think we're going to cut it off shortly. We have people coming in. That prayer is called Him. Man. The focus of that prayer will deep dive more into the conversations we had about generational curses versus generational conduct, generational conversations. And we're going to allow God to go way back in our minds and in our stuff and pull down everything that seeks to exalt itself against what he has really said about who we are, because it's really finished, y'all. We want to just pull aside space and just pray. Take some lesson, go back into prayer. So we're going to have a season of prayer. It's going to be on an early Saturday morning. I want to say April the 22nd. April the 22nd. I really want to say at about 7 a.m. Yes, it's early. Yes, that's intentional. We want to, it just has this feel, y'all, of like just waking up and like just sneaking off before the sun, before the day even breaks, to talk to our good daddy God, to be in his presence. It's not about getting dressed up. It's not about trying to linger all day. It's not about just form and fashion. It's for the women who just say, I just want to be with him. I'm just trying to get to him. So I encourage you to go on the website and get registered for him. I think it's only like $12, and that's just so that we can count and reserve a facility that is big enough for those of us who are coming. That's him. And then also for those of you who will be joining me at the Church Without Walls, Brook Hollow, that is a registration that's sponsored. There's no cost to you. You already have your book. Some of you see the flyer and it does say March 1st through the 31st. That's because they are currently reading the book. Their church is currently reading as well. And then on April the 15th, I'll facilitate a discussion. So I encourage you, invite you, and ask of you that if you can come on and come with me so that the community's in this space. All right. So those things are on your radar for now. I'll see you on Sunday. Get signed up for him. Early morning, it'll be located in Houston. We're still working on the facility based on the size, but it'll be early morning. Will be a time of prayer, 7 to about 8:30, and that'll give you still the whole remainder of your Saturday to still do what busy women have to do. And then if you can come with me to Brook Hollow, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, thank you to those of you who continue to give, who contribute, who just say, girl, let me get you this low $10 monthly stipend. I'm wrong for that anyway. It's funny to me when people say that, like, you wrong for making this $10 for a whole month. This is good therapy. But thank you. It is to make it very reasonable and doable for everybody who desires to be honorable, to say this is valuable. It's not so that it can be expensive. And honey, it's showing because I think I'm only worth $10. But it is to say that if everybody does a little bit, then it helps us to pay the subscriptions for StreamYard and other things that we attempt to do for the community. So thank you to those of you who honor that, who actually walk in integrity about that, and then those of you who will join in. We really do appreciate it. So with that being said, we'll see you right back here in the morning for prayer. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Bye now.